Welcome to From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. I'm your host, a holistic healing coach, divorce recovery coach, and a passionate advocate for personal growth and your guide on the journey to healing. This podcast is for those who are struggling with the feelings of loneliness, disconnection, feeling stuck, and who are ready to discover their inner potential and live a life overflowing with love and connection. Inside, we're going to explore the path from pain to transformation, bridging the gap between loneliness and abundance through heartfelt conversations, spirituality, energy work, and self-awareness. So let's get started on this soulful journey together. Welcome to another episode From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. Today's guest is a beautiful soul who has experienced all the typical success that we might perceive as success, and then stepped into her spirituality, which opened up many beautiful doors, which opened up many beautiful insights about herself, the inwards journey. So I can't wait for everyone to hear this conversation today. Welcome, Anna.
Welcome, Matina. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so happy that we connected on a, divine path.
Oh, absolutely we did. Absolutely. Honestly, like it blows my mind how the perfect connection, the perfect synchronicity start happening when you are on your own journey. So I'm very, very excited for our listeners to hear what that was for you and how you went from your loneliness moments into the overflow, into recognizing that there is more and that you can live more for sure in this lifetime. We don't want to wait many more lifetimes, right? With this lifetime, now.
Exactly. Let's crush it, right?
Right, exactly. Why not? So
Yes.
tell, for those who doesn't know about you and all the beautiful work that you do, share a little bit about yourself.
About myself. So, like my human experience, so to say, it's currently, I'm a mom of a wonderful son that I'm blessed to guide him also to his path. And I currently live around the world. So I don't currently have this one stable place where people defined, okay, that is where you need to be based. And the reason for that is because I feel myself more like a person of the world, like interconnected.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that was also the reason why in the early age I moved from my country where I'm born, Bulgaria, to Germany, and then start exploring like Dubai and other places on earth. And I feel everywhere kind of connected, so like doesn't matter where you go, but yet always a little, a little, okay, where do I belong? I think in the word of loneliness is sometimes you can be with a lot of people. So I used to be this person like in the middle of the network, in the middle of the happening, like have a lot of friends, a lot of connection, a lot of things in the middle of everything. But sometimes this feeling of loneliness kind of rise up.
There's so much beautiful thing that you're saying right now. Like when you are in the midst of people, we can experience loneliness. But you also said, and this is very intriguing for me, is like you are a lady of the world and have lived in many different places, yet this question still was out there. It's like, where do I belong? So let me start with the first question for you. When was your loneliness moment that you realized that, oh my God, there is more. I need to be doing something different here and be on a path of overflow?
So I had kind of, I would say, two moments. So the first one is like you shared at the beginning, I was on the trajectory of creating that what people say is a successful life on earth, like studying in a different university, working for like international companies, creating a family, having a child. What the society says is successful: go study, create a career, have a family, so go on this path.
Yes.
And the first moment of loneliness that appears is I was actually in Thailand on a beautiful vacation, staying on the beach. And I was thinking about me, my path of as an employee. And I was thinking, oh my God, I was working in Germany back there. And I was thinking, oh my God, wait, I have like 40 years ahead to work, right?
Right.
And I have only, I calculated around 3.5 years of vacation. So that means within these 40 years of work, I have only 3.5 years where I can experience a true freedom, that it's not directed by my employer, that is not directed by the task that I put in front of me. And I was thinking there must be another way
Yes.
to to create a life that is more self-aware, that is more freedom based, right? So to be where you want to be, to spend the time with the people you want to be, and to do the things that you actually truly enjoy and love, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
And that is where actually I get introduced to my first business, that I was doing it for around 5 years. And that is where the first moment of loneliness happened, because when I joined the business, starting doing it part-time next to my full-time job,
Yeah.
suddenly it happens that all my friends around me, my whole environment, they actually didn't accept it. For them was like, okay, I know that Anna the way she is, 24/7, available for me, always supporting, always helping, and like going on her path in the career, in the big companies. And now suddenly she started talking about personal development. So that was my first step kind of to
Yeah.
self-realization, is personal development, like learning soft skills, communication, sales, marketing, but also understanding the psychology of myself and the people I'm interacting. And I don't know whether you experience this, Matina, but sometimes when you change in your environment, they have like a perception of you, who you should be
Yes,
in
yes.
their life, and you don't fit anymore in this perception. The people kind of stop resonating. So what happened is
You're not on the same level.
exactly, my whole environment like vaporized. It's like the people starting like completely. And at this moment, I also divorced from my husband, that
Mhm.
I still truly have a deep love for him as a person, and also the father of my son. So we had I would say, a very peaceful separation.
Mhm.
But some of our common friends decided that they need to take sides. So that is
Mhm.
also one part, how they also disappear out of my life.
Right.
So I was standing there with my relationship ended. I started a business where I was thinking I can actually, maybe do it with some of my friends, or also introduce them and whatever. And all of them turned their back to me. So I was like the person having this huge network of friends that I was supporting in many levels. And I understood the moment I started shifting and putting boundaries, I wasn't a friend anymore, because I wasn't as
Right.
available to them as I used to be. I wasn't the same person, the same identity that they used to be.
Yes.
So it took me around approximately 2 years to start building a new environment of real connection. And that was during this crazy time back in the 2020,
Mm-hmm.
um, that I realized I was in this power woman attitude, this masculine, like always higher, farther, faster,
Yes.
like always going
Yes.
ahead. And I realized I wasn't the person that had a lot of woman friends I had, but I kind of came better along with men. And in
Mm-hmm.
this moment, I was like, I was always 24/7 supporting my environment. And they
Yes.
even though turned my back when I needed the help, it was, oh, you're such a power woman. You can manage it by yourself.
Oh my gosh.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I feel like that, they need to
Mm-hmm.
be other women out there that feel the same, that resonate. And if we get these women together that are such a provider of support for the society, for their environment, then maybe we can even create something beautiful. So I created a Power Woman community where it's more about rebalancing the masculine, the feminine energy, where it was
Mm-hmm.
more
Yeah.
about having a safe space where you feel fully supported, not judgmental, with compassion, and you knew when you enter the room, it's a trustworthy room, and that is where
Yes.
I created this new environment of women resonated with my new identity, where it was like on an eye to eye level, and it's like everybody experienced kind of loneliness as misunderstanding on their path of
Right.
building business or going into personal development. So in this hard time of loneliness, people staying at home, I
Mhm.
created this weekly wine and power talk. So we were having a wine and having like a power talk, so to level up.
Yeah, great. Great experience.
Is that was my first part. But what happened is when my business that I was building part time and I went in full time, some circumstances happened. Back there I didn't understand it immediately, where the business needed to end, and also the community, because I realized a new identity shift is about to happen. And that is where I start asking, going from personal development, from like this brain
Yep.
driven understanding,
Yep.
to more about there is actually more behind. I wasn't understanding it, what it
Ooh,
was, but I have goosebumps when telling you this.
yes.
But I understand that, there is something greater than my current human experience that is guiding me. And when this business stopped, at first I reacted with, oh no, I need to build something new. I need to go farther, faster, higher, because my mind didn't want it to let go,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And but what happened is every endeavor I started, I created value for, yet it didn't kind of feel this passion within me, this kind of like long-term vision whatsoever. So last year in March, I dropped everything, like totally everything. And I say,
Before you
okay,
go
so you
further,
know what?
Anna, you hold on. You're going so amazingly fast. And I love your story. So before you go and share about what happened last year where you dropped everything, that's already a huge moment right there where everyone can learn from. However, I want to go back to what you said earlier, where you said, I'm on vacation, sitting by the beach, thinking out out in my head as I have 40 years to go before the big R word comes, retirement's happening. And in these 40 years, I only have 3.5 years where I decide what I do that's not connected with the doing, but actually with the being of a human. That realization, not everyone has, and not everyone steps into. So there is already something calling you in that moment, making you subtly change and shift into like, okay, I'm going to start my business. Then you too recognize how your environment is changing. What you just shared in not even 10 minutes is all about change. And as human beings, we don't
Don't
like
like
change.
change. No.
Let's be real. We don't like change. We want to have things the same. We want to know what we can count on. We want to know what's going to happen next, even though there is this part of us that doesn't want to know. That
I want
we,
to trust. I want to trust.
yes, yes, absolutely trust. Trust that there is something bigger, better out there that you are going to be stepping into. But the fact that you had that insight from within yourself speaks volume. The fact that you were sitting at the beach thinking about, oh my God, I'm giving this company 40 years of my life in return of 3.5, that balance doesn't match.
Yeah.
Now you build this powerhouse of women that coming together are starting to understand personal development on an intellectual level. Now
The
from
most
this,
of them was even coaches, actually. They were like coaches, life coaches, family
ah,
coaches, sexual coaches, sales. So more of the women I attracted was either already coaches or willing to create a coaching business to guide people through this process of self-realization, of like there is more. that our ego or our subconscious mind is trying to dictate to us.
Yes, 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 yes. So you're talking and really doing the work on an intellectual level, connecting with these women, connecting with what their message is and what they're doing and helping others in their own community. Now, what you're about to share is going a level deeper. It's going from that intellectual mind into the soul journey. So please go ahead, share more. What happened last year?
Okay. So actually that was like how a lot of people I think know it as how do you say it? The dark night of the soul journey. So it started end of 2022 where like I was still fighting against this journey and yet still going, okay, I went to a Buddha ashram for a few days to explore, and then I went so I start exploring all the existing mystical teachings and new age spirituality, but also combining with the science of the quantum physics, placebo, so everything. So like when you see what is going around, I like starting like going in all the direction to find an answer.
Yes.
Okay, so like from meditating to different rituals to I even did coaching, how to say, like workshop for timeline healing. So to explore past life, so like past life regressions and all this kind of stuff. So it's like I was so wide open. So I say, okay, it needs to be something more and I need to find an answer. So I started like really tapping in all these areas. And I just say, okay, I'm letting everything that I built till now, everything that I resonate with, and I want to realign internal with me to understand what is my purpose here on earth. Why did I choose to have this experience, this life? And kind of shifted into more stronger feminine energy. So like more about in the chaos, not structure, not control, not direction, like you say, dedication, but more about, okay, surrendering, exploring, being comfortable in being uncomfortable with the not knowing.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That is so important. That when that light comes on in you, where it's like, okay, I need to explore this. I need to understand what is inside of me. I need to understand what I'm feeling and sensing into. And I love the fact that you're trying everything. You're not cutting off things, right? Like you're being this open book. And I was like just absorbing like a sponge everything that's coming to you. But then also recognizing what do you resonate with and what is not for you at this time. Before we dive back in, I have something transformative to share with you. It's called the Alignment Collective. Release, Rebuild, and Rise. My signature group coaching program designed to help you unlock the life you deserve. Every month, we focus on a key area of life, from health to relationships, career, and more. In the first 2 weeks, we energetically release what's holding you back. Then we shift into calling in the abundance and clarity that you desire. And in the final week, we come together for a powerful group coaching, sharing our wins, our challenges, and raising the collective energy. Are you ready to release what doesn't serve you, rebuild your foundation, and rise into your potential? Try it for 50% off with discount code GROWTH. Visit matinasingh.com/meditation. The link is also found in the description. I can't wait to support you on this journey.
Exactly. And that's very important, Matina, what you say, because sometimes I listened to something or I saw something that didn't resonate at this very moment. Yeah. But later, maybe few steps ahead, when I came back again, I had a completely different perception. So I was able to see the value that at this moment wasn't there. So I started trusting, okay, if something is for me, it will be for me in this very moment. Or I had also this saying, if I need to be somewhere, I'll be there. And if I'm not there, I don't need to be there at this moment. So that also helped me this FOMO effect, what's social media, society tried to tell you, don't miss this. If you miss this deadline, if you miss this investment opportunity, if you miss this event, if you miss this one, this FOMO effect that drives me. I was driven by this FOMO. So I was the social butterfly in my first, when I started my first business, I was the social butterfly. So I had friends around me, coaches, they tell me, Anna, you are not a speaker on the stage. You're not a coach or whatsoever yet, but people knows you better than the other one because you are everywhere and you're like present. I was like, I need to be everywhere. But this was exhausting. And exactly, I remember when I told you at the beginning, you're in the middle of huge amount of people. And then there is come this sense of, and yet it feels sometimes overwhelming or I don't belong or loneliness. Not that I don't belong, but it's like more about, I need to so that's why last year I complete.
Yes, it's
exactly.
A little sense. It's a little voice inside of us that says, what are you doing here? And even though you can justify it with your mind of what you're doing and why you're doing it, that little voice is there for a reason.
Yeah. And that is where I really needed to pull my energy out of all this environment, and really go through this deep night of the soul. So this dark night of the soul, where I started shedding layer over layer. So understanding one belief, second belief, what I'm thinking about, what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing. And I started, and I think that was one of the most important, is tapping into the responsibility that everything I have experienced till now or I am experiencing, it's my own responsibility. And I think that was the hardest, pill to swallow.
Yes.
Because then you stay there and you say, oh my God, because I stopped blaming, okay, this person did this to me or this happened to me, instead of, okay, I kind of resonate or attracted it, to say this way, because there was something within me why I had to experience this person, this situation, this loneliness or this tower moment, so to say.
Yeah, yes. And it's in those tower moments, it's in that darkness, because what you're really truly sharing, Anna, is you went from the external day-to-day life in which so many people live to the internal journey. It wasn't intellectual anymore. It was something that you can sense and feel inside of you that consciously did not make sense really, but it was just like a knowing, like, no, I need to go deeper and deeper. And what you just said about, it's not about blaming the past or blaming a person or blaming a situation or blaming a parent even. It really is about what is going on in my mind. What are my thoughts? What am I saying to myself on a daily basis? And even though you were in this dark night of the soul, you saw a light. Tell me more how and when you start seeing the light.
So one of the first things that shifted to me as I was living almost 22 years away from my home is based on my decision to drop everything. I was kind of forced from my circumstances, and also because I wanted to spend more time with my child, as my previous years was a lot about career and so on. So I was supporting my child, but not at the emotional level as he needed. Yeah. So I spent 3 months in my home country. And for the last 22 years, I was spending maximum 1 week or 2 weeks. And it was like more of like traveling and not deeply reconnecting with my family. So this last year, spending this 3 months with my family here and living in my old room and sharing my day-to-day life with my mother and also my sister and my father, of course, all of them have their own home. It shows me a lot of like family wounds, but also helped me to start acting in my new identity, because up to then, every time when I came back home, I was the old Annie that they used to know. So I always tap into this old version of myself. Yes. But last year I was able to really tap into the new identity I was bringing to life and to communicate and to open more compassionate to my parents, to my family, and to understand that. And I think this was one sentence that helps me in the interaction was every person act in every single moment to the best of their ability based on their conscious level.
Ooh, every person acts to the best of their ability of their conscious level.
Yes.
Wow.
So when I realized this, I was able to see my parents through a different lens. I was able to understand why they act as they act, or why they acted in the past, or what kind of beliefs they exposed on me, because that was their level of consciousness.
Yes.
But not from a judgmental point, not from a point, oh, I'm more superior or whatever, but more of like, okay, they need it because they have their own story, they have their own path, they have their own way to go. And I start understanding maybe I'm the one to break through this lineage of like, for example, from my mom's side, this masculine energy in the woman, this control, this like, you know, being very judgmental with yourself, being like always,
Yes.
you know, in the outside, not allowing to show emotion, not allowing to show vulnerability. That was like the next path, where to go back home and to be vulnerable. This was for me like a path to light, because they always thought I'm this strong woman that I can handle everything, and I never ever asked for help or support. And suddenly I was asking for support, and it wasn't easy for me, but it was beautiful because I could understand that my value is not connected, or I start learning connected to my outside success, but it's more connected to the personality I embody or the value I bring.
Yeah. What I'm really hearing, Anna, is how having compassion for yourself allowed you to have compassion for your parents, for your environment, for everyone around you, right? And it's very, very important for anyone to recognize that it's compassion for yourself first. When you don't have that filled, having compassion, true compassion for someone else is going to be difficult.
It's not possible.
Mm.
It's actually impossible, because the problem is you cannot feel true compassion towards somebody else if you don't give it to yourself. It's a false, how to say, perception that people say, oh, I'm compassionate about that. Oh, I have unconditional love towards somebody. You cannot have an unconditional love towards somebody if you don't start with yourself. And sometimes I think this path, when people looking from outside think, oh, you're very egoistic in this moment in your life, because you put a hard boundaries. So you start you start questioning your boundaries, you start questioning your value, questioning, you know, the way how you interact with people, what energy do you allow to come in your life. And then setting these boundaries is actually, like, for me, one of the base for creating a self-love.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. It is absolutely so important to have healthy boundaries. But you're very right in saying that we cannot have healthy boundaries if we don't know what our values are, if we don't know why we put up boundaries in the first place. How can they serve us? How can they take us out of this people pleasing phase into pleasing ourselves first? And yes, people might perceive it as egoistic, and people might perceive it as, oh, what are you doing? But you're not fulfilling the role of a mother or a dad or a person because you are on your own journey. How dare you be this selfish? And it's like, no, hold on. If I don't do this, I cannot be a good mom. Sorry, pardon me, not a good mom. I cannot be the greatest mom on this planet because I don't love me.
And also, I had, by the way, one mom saying, yeah, you are now in other country. Where's your son? And I say, he's staying with his dad and with my partner. So he had kind of like two like more role models, men.
Yes.
You left your son alone there. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe my son needs to experience also more masculine energy around himself. And that's his part. And exactly what you say, it's about, I cannot be a great mom if I'm not fulfilled if I'm not happy, because our children, they have even higher feeling about the emotional state of the parents. They don't hear what we say, they see what we do, and they feel our emotion even stronger than we ourselves is feeling it. And I said, if I want to show my child that he can live a fulfilled life, I need to be this example for him. Because otherwise he see only the example I am giving to him, and then he will have not strong boundaries. He will not perceive his own path of self-realization, of self-awareness, because his mom or his dad, are sacrificing their own truth.
Yes. And this is something very, very important for everyone to recognize, that, whenever we're reading books, or there's so many conversation about the baggage that we receive from our parents. And thinking about the baggage, it is actually a very interesting concept to me, because the way that I look at it is like, okay, I'm a family of, I have 3 other sisters. If I look at my parents and they so-called give us all a baggage, they all raised us in the same way. So that means our baggage should be the same. We all, from this logical mind perspective, should have the same baggage, which is absolutely not true, because our soul attracts and, releases things based on what is in resonance with my soul. So the baggage that I carry and choose to carry has nothing to do with my parents, has to do with the evolution of my soul.
And when a strong soul come here, we take more baggage because we have higher ability to release this baggage.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
So I was thinking why I have this. Sometimes in my meditation, I feel like a huge stone, like a mountain, like carrying the whole baggage of not just my family. Like I had one experience in one guided, ceremony with a lady from India, where I felt how my heart opens and I kind of pull all the pain and all the grief and all the sadness of the world in my heart. And in the same moment, I was radiating like love. So my heart felt all this heaviness of the humanity currently. And I was like crying rivers. But when I came out of this experience, I was like, oh my God, I can feel all this pain. And yet I have such a strong love within me and compassion and empathy that I was able to transmute it. And I'm not dead.
Yes. That is a very profound experience that teaches you the power of our soul. But you're very right in saying it is and depends on our soul. And there's no one like you on this planet. No one. So believe. Give yourself the gift of believing in yourself. So here you are, Anna. Last year comes along. You're stepping through all of these experiences. You're stepping into the light. You're stepping into recognizing the light in Anna, the spirit in Anna, the awakening in Anna. And where are you now? What do you do now? Wow, what an amazing conversation with Anna today. I hope you found as much inspiration and insight in this episode as I have. And guess what? We're not done yet. Our conversation was so full of wisdom and depth that we have split it into 2 parts. So make sure to tune in next week as we continue diving into Anna's journey and her choosing to embrace her biggest fear. You won't want to miss it. Be sure to subscribe so you get notified as soon as the next episode is out. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you next week. Thank you for listening. I hope this episode has helped you to feel less alone in finding tools towards a life which is overflowing with love and purpose. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach more individuals who are seeking healing and personal growth just like you. And don't forget to take a screenshot and share your aha moments on your Instagram stories and tag me, Matina. See you next week. Take care.